Whether you are an experienced medical practitioner or you're a student just beginning their studies, the ModelMed Sophie and Sophie's Mum Birth Simulator version 4.0 will enable you to develop and enhance your core competencies required to manage childbirth. Proper maintenance will ensure the longevity of the product. Our products are made with lifelike material, and if you treat them with care, they will be long-lasting. So, no long fingernails, no rings, and no watches. Always use gloves and personal protection equipment. Be gentle. Treat the simulators like you would a real person. In order to prevent the Sophie's Mum base simulator moving during the simulation, clamp the base to the bench using the supplied G-clamps. If you are simulating a cephalic birth, we would recommend fastening it to the back of your workspace. If you are simulating a breech birth, we would recommend fastening it to the front of your workspace. This will better simulate the available space in either scenario. If you want a more permanent solution, you can bolt or screw the base down to the bench surface. We recommend bolts as the preferred solution for attaching the base unit to a bench. Please follow these instructions. Position the Sophie's Mum base simulator on the bench in the position in which you would like to use it. Using a pencil, mark the position of the holes front and rearmost in the base on the bench. Remove the Sophie's Mum simulator. Drill a small pilot hole through each mark using a 3mm or 1/8 inch drill bit. Now enlarge the hole by drilling with the 6.5mm or 1/4 inch drill bit. You will need to find bolts of the correct length to attach Sophie's Mum to the bench. Measure the thickness of the bench and then add 25mm or 1 inch to the measurement. That is how long the bolts will need to be. You will need 4 of these bolts, as well as 4 washers and 4 wig nuts of the correct size. Position the Sophie's Mum base simulator over the holes and pass 1 bolt up through a hole. Now loosely attach the wing nut. Repeat the process for the remaining 3 bolts. Once all 4 bolts have been loosely attached, you can tighten the wing nuts. If you decide to use screws, then you should follow these instructions. Position the Sophie's Mum base simulator in place on the bench you are going to use. You can drive screws into the 4 holes at the rear of the base. If you are driving the screws into the bench using a power driver or power drill, place a piece of cardboard between the side of the simulator and the power drill. This will ensure that you don't damage the skin of the simulator. To get the best out of Sophie and Sophie's Mum simulation, the optimal configuration is to have 2 medically trained personnel running the simulation. One will be managing the job of pushing the baby through the birth canal. This person is, in effect, the mother. The second person is the obstetrician or the midwife delivering the fetus. In this video manual, we will call the person pushing the fetus through the birth canal the mother, while we call the person delivering the fetus the midwife. We recognise that we could just as easily have said OB-GYN, doula, obstetrician, etc. for the person delivering the fetus. We chose to use midwife for the purposes of these instructions. The only lubricants you should use with Sophie and Sophie's Mum are water-based lubricants. A good base standard of lubricant is KY jelly. In our experience, some lubricants are substandard, so make sure the one you are using is slippery. Please note that ultrasound gel does not work and should not be used. Once Sophie's Mum has been clamped in place, take approximately 50 millilitres of water-based lubricant and smear it all over the inside of Sophie's Mum's birth canal. A small spritz of water can also help enhance the slipperiness of the lubricant. Now take another 50 millilitres of water-based lubricant and smear it all over Sophie from head to toe. You are now ready to begin your simulation. It is incredibly important to clean your ModelMed Sophie and Sophie's Mum after every use. Once you have finished the simulation, Clean Sophie with a cloth soaked in warm water and detergent. Clean off all lubricant thoroughly. Then dry her by patting her with a soft, lint-free towel. Dust her with talcum powder. If you have concerns about using talcum powder, then we recommend using tapioca flour, also known as arrowroot powder, to dust the simulators. We do not recommend corn flour, which has a tendency to turn yellow. You can wrap Sophie in a cloth or store her in her original box. Likewise, clean Sophie's mum with a cloth soaked in warm water and detergent. Do not immerse her in water. Clean off all traces of the lubricant. Then pat Sophie's mum down with a soft lint-free towel. Dust her with talcum powder. If you have concerns about using talcum powder, then again, we recommend using tapioca flour, also known as arrowroot powder, to dust the simulators. Avoid leaving Sophie or Sophie's mum for prolonged periods in direct sunlight and never exposed to extreme temperatures. Ensure they're either packed away or protected when not in use. Again, proper maintenance will ensure the longevity of the product. If you treat them with care, they will be long-lasting. If you have any further questions, visit the Model Med website.